Okay, so, right now, as you're watching this, the biggest sporting event in human history is happening across 3 countries. 48 teams, 104 matches, 16 stadiums, 6.5 million tickets. And the organization running all of it, the one that controls every broadcast deal, every sponsorship contract, every dollar that moves through this machine, is, legally speaking, a non-profit. I need you to sit with that for a second. FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, is on track to generate $13 billion from this single 4-year cycle. That is more revenue than the GDP of over 70 countries. And FIFA is registered in Zurich, Switzerland, as a Verein, which is the German word for association. It is literally the same legal category as a local hiking club or a neighborhood chess group. A Swiss politician once described it perfectly. He said FIFA is organized like a small yodeling association in a mountain village. Except this yodeling association has a $240 million headquarters built into a hillside overlooking Zurich, 400 employees, and revenue that would put it comfortably inside the Fortune 500. Because when you are a non-profit association in Switzerland, you do not pay corporate taxes the way a normal business does. And when you host your tournament in another country, you require that country to grant you full tax exemptions too. And when local laws get in your way, you require those laws to be changed. This is the story of how a sports federation became one of the most powerful business operations on the planet, while technically not being a business at all. And I think, once you see how the money actually works, you will never watch a World Cup the same way again. The year is 1904, Paris, France. 7 European football associations meet in a building on the Rue Saint-Honoré and create an international body to govern the sport. They call it FIFA. The founding budget is essentially nothing. The entire operation fits in a single room. Over the next century, FIFA grows into the most powerful institution in world sports. It moves to Zurich. It accumulates 211 member associations, more member nations than the United Nations. And it discovers something remarkable about Switzerland. See, Switzerland is home to about 65 international sports federations: FIFA, the International Olympic Committee, UEFA, and dozens of others. And the Swiss government treats these organizations extremely well. They are registered as non-profit associations. They are granted tax advantages. And for decades, and this is the part that genuinely surprised me, they were exempt from Swiss anti-corruption laws. May 27, 2015, 6 o'clock in the morning, Zurich, Switzerland. Swiss police officers walk into the Bauer au Lac, one of the most expensive hotels in the city, and arrest 7 FIFA officials in their rooms. The arrests are made at the request of the United States Department of Justice. A 47-count indictment is unsealed in a federal court in Brooklyn, New York, charging 14 FIFA officials and sports marketing executives with racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering. The investigation had been running for years, led by the FBI and the IRS. It uncovered over $150 million in alleged bribes and kickbacks. 27 defendants ultimately pleaded guilty. The U.S. Department of Justice eventually distributed over $200 million in restitution. And the reason the United States, not Switzerland, brought these charges is that Swiss law at the time did not cover this kind of conduct by non-profit sports associations. Okay, so let's talk about the money, because the numbers for this current cycle are genuinely staggering. FIFA operates on a 4-year commercial cycle, and the 2023 to 2026 cycle is projected to generate approximately $13 billion in total revenue. That is roughly 72% more than the Qatar cycle. Where does $13 billion come from? Four main streams. First, broadcasting rights, close to $4 billion. The expansion from 32 to 48 teams means more matches, 104 instead of 64, which means more broadcast inventory to sell. Second, sponsorship. FIFA has nearly sold out its entire commercial inventory. Sponsorship revenue is projected at around $2.4 billion. Third, and this is where things get interesting, tickets and hospitality. At Qatar, matchday revenue was $950 million. For 2026, that number could reach $3 billion. That is a 216% increase. How? Two words: dynamic pricing. For the first time in World Cup history, FIFA introduced dynamic pricing for ticket sales. When the bid was submitted, a final ticket was promised at a maximum of $1,550. By April 2026, the cheapest standard final ticket had reached $5,785. The most expensive? Over $30,000. The Attorneys General of New York and New Jersey launched formal investigations. Just 2 days before the tournament kicked off, there were reports of 180,000 unsold tickets. Fans had been waiting, betting that prices would drop. So here's the part of the FIFA business model that I think most people don't fully understand. When a country bids to host the World Cup, it signs a set of formal guarantees. These guarantees cover taxation, immigration, intellectual property, security, and operational control. And the most significant requirement is this: FIFA demands a full tax exemption for itself and all related entities. FIFA controls all central revenue, broadcast rights, sponsorship deals, ticket sales, hospitality packages. The cities pay for security, stadium modifications, transportation, fan zones, emergency services. The U.S. federal government allocated $625 million in security grants across 11 host cities. Individual city costs are estimated between $100 and $200 million each. In Canada, Toronto's projected costs are around $380 million Canadian dollars. Vancouver's estimates range up to $624 million. Combined Canadian host city costs are expected to exceed $1 billion Canadian dollars. New Jersey Transit faces a $48 million bill just for transporting fans. Not every city accepted it. Chicago withdrew from the bidding process. Vancouver initially pulled out, with British Columbia's premier calling the agreement a blank check. In Foxborough, Massachusetts, taxpayers refused to foot the bill. The Patriots' ownership had to step in. Okay, so, if the financial structure wasn't enough, there is another layer. FIFA does not just ask host countries to provide stadiums and security. In multiple documented cases, FIFA has asked host countries to change their laws. The most famous example is Brazil. Brazil banned alcohol at football stadiums in 2003 because of fan violence. But Budweiser had been FIFA's official beer sponsor since the mid-1980s. FIFA's Secretary General said it publicly. Alcoholic drinks are part of the FIFA World Cup. Excuse me if I sound a bit arrogant, but that's something we won't negotiate. Brazil passed what the media called the Budweiser Bill. The country's own public health law was overridden. This pattern repeated. South Africa created special courts. Russia and Qatar made exemptions to labor laws. FIFA's own hosting requirements document states that existing generic laws generally do not provide a sufficient legal framework, and requests governments to enact any and all requisite special laws. So, $13 billion comes in. Where does it actually go? FIFA runs the Forward program. Under Forward 3.0, each of FIFA's 211 member associations receives up to $8 million over 4 years. That covers infrastructure, coaching, women's football, grassroots programs. FIFA's operational expenditure is approximately $3.76 billion. And here's what I think is the honest assessment. FIFA does redistribute a significant amount into football development worldwide. That is real. But it has also built a financial structure that would be the envy of any multinational corporation, with tax advantages no corporation could access. Both things are true simultaneously. FIFA is not going anywhere. The next World Cup is already awarded. 2030, shared across 6 countries. Then 2034 in Saudi Arabia. And every cycle, the numbers get bigger. 6 billion in 2014, 7 billion in 2018, 11 billion in 2022, 13 billion in 2026. The trajectory only goes in one direction. The total economic impact is projected at $30.5 billion. Real jobs, real tourism revenue. But the core tension remains. FIFA captures the centralized revenue. Host cities absorb the costs. Taxpayers fund the infrastructure. And at the center sits a Zurich-based association that has figured out how to make other people pay for your product while you keep the profits. The next time you watch a World Cup match, think about this. You're watching a product that generates $13 billion, is run by a non-profit, is funded by your city's tax dollars, and is governed by an association that can ask your government to change its laws. And somehow, we all keep watching, because the football is that good. If this changed how you think about the business behind the game, subscribe to Boardroom Files. I break down the stories behind the world's biggest business empires every single week. Hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.